Okay.
Okay, guys. Anyway, I don't know. Tom and Denise, I think they're in LA. They might pop on, so we'll just see. But I wanted to talk about some training that went on the Super Saturday this weekend. And Nikki did it, and it was around the whole, there's a process, right? There's a process in everything we do. There's a process in getting on this Zoom. You know, there's a process in getting to work every day. And so she talked about the process of network marketing. And interesting enough, as she was kind of going through it, and I think all of us that are leaders, you know, who have people in our downlines, we've had to work through different things with them at different times. And so she drew a circle, and we use this circle, you know, with the arrow, right, going like this, and the arrow going back. Oh, hey, Devin's here. Sweet. And a couple more people. And hello. Patrick, hey. So I was just talking a little bit about that training that Nikki did, Devin. So you were here, and James was on, and I'm not sure if anybody else saw it, but you know, the whole process of network marketing. And Pamela, as I put these out there, if you can put them in the chat, that'd be great. Okay, so the process is, you know, first is finding prospects, right? So we're finding prospects in order to grow our business. And what does that look like? And the next, and I'm good.
It's called the law of process.
The law of process. Okay, sorry. The law of process. Okay. Yes, it says, I have it here. Law of process. So there's a law around the process. Okay. Anyway, and so these are the things that I'm going to be talking about: finding prospects, inviting, presenting, follow-up, enrolling, helping new people, and promoting, right? And so in each one of these individual skills, we have to walk through a process of finding prospects. Okay, so number one is finding prospects. And so have you know ever had, so Nikki used a great example in the training, and I have some examples too. I'm going to use hers, but where somebody said, well, I just don't know where to find people. And all of us that are in the 65 and a wake up, we're like, are you kidding me? They are everywhere. And all you have to do is start talking to 2 people a day and interviewing 2 people a day. But what happens is, and this could be around some of you that might have kind of not jumped into 65 and a wake up, but you know, the process of meeting someone and having a conversation with them. And so what this person said was, it wasn't that she couldn't find people, because there are people all over the place. But part of the problem was, for her, she didn't believe what was coming out of her mouth. Okay. She didn't believe the words that were coming out. And so the conversation, what does your conversation look like around something like that? So the communication that was kind of coming across from her was, do you remember what it was, James? It was around like the, shoot, I just lost it. Like, okay, oh, these products are, you know, going to just, you know, make you fly or whatever, right? Whatever the thought process was, or these things, you know, she might not have had. How many of you like maybe didn't have a testimonial about the products? So it's hard for you to talk about the products, right? So you're trying to tell people, oh, look who's here, it's Tommy.
I spy with my little eye, Tommy and Denise.
Woo! Oh, they're getting
on the plane.
Oh no, they're not in their first class. You're not in your first class seats now. No. Do you want to say something? You're unmuted. Do you want to say something?
I really can't. I just want to tell all you guys we're home. We love you. We can't wait to see you. And it was a great trip. And I'm going to train you guys on how to build Asian organizations. And I'm going to train you people in Asia how to train to build U.S. organizations. I learned a lot. I saw a lot. I believe more in longevity than ever before. And we've been now traveling for 25 hours and we are tired. But we're going to be home soon and we love you. And that's it. I missed you guys and I did not want to have all of you thinking I was a slacker. So I'll be on the Hair on Fire call in the morning. And thanks a million, Mary Ann and Pamela. I'm just going to listen to you guys and watch. So I'm here. I love you. Let's go. Let's build something. Keep posting every day. Keep supporting people every day. I made a new commitment to myself to support, to comment on all the Star School people too. So I'm going to really get involved there because I'm watching all you people doing your vision boards there and your commitments. And I think that's very congruent with what we're doing here. And I love the fact that we're all getting into a system and driving this thing. So I don't know if you could hear all that. It sounds like you could, but if you couldn't, sorry. But thank you, every one of you, for being the extraordinary people that you are. It's worth it. I'll see you before you know it. Take it away, Mary Ann and Pamela.
Love you guys. So good to see
Yeah.
you. Can't wait for you to be home.
Mute me. Somebody mute me.
All right. Oh, okay. Okay, so back to, if you didn't have a product experience and you're talking to somebody about the products, you might not have a strong belief around that. And the same thing with the business, right? If you're talking with someone around the business, so what is it that you're saying when you're meeting someone? And it was interesting because today, Lance Gordon did the conversation, right? And said, he goes, people would always ask me, what do I lead with, the product or do I lead with the business? And he said, my good friend Tom Chenault taught me not to lead with either one of them, right? You have to develop that relationship. So just going out and talking with someone and hearing who they are and what they're looking for is a different conversation than just trying to go out and sell somebody on something, right? And so you might not have a lot of confidence around the business, or you might not have a lot of confidence around the products because you don't have a current experience with that. But you can, once you develop a relationship with someone, then you're going to do that three-way call. You're going to introduce them to that person. That you can do it with a product. You know, if you've got someone who really needs a story, a health story, we have plenty of those around. And then you're going to use your business builders, right? Your people that, oh, something happened here. Okay. You're going to build your business around the business conversations, doing the three-way call, right? You're going to find somebody who, your upline, your sideline, whoever it is, and have them do that three-way call with you on that person. Okay. All right. Let me get back to my circle here. All right. So the next thing she talked about was the law of process is inviting. How do we invite somebody to look at the plan, or, you know, be on a call, or get in a Zoom, or look at a video? So what's the process of going around and inviting someone? Again, you've got to believe in what you're inviting them to. So for me, I might, you know, like a Pampered Chef party, right? I don't cook much, and it's really hard for me to get someone to go with me to a Pampered Chef party, because most of the time I would just go because of my friend, but at the same time, I'm not that excited. Have you ever done that? Like, you do something because somebody's invited you and you feel committed. But what Corey was talking about, you know, I just need people in the seats, right? So just come, be excited about it, and invite them and get them there because of your excitement, right? And the other thing that he talks about was the meeting has got to be fun. It's got to be a lot of fun. And so inviting somebody to come to another meeting, especially if you're already working and you're like, I have been in meetings all day, why would I want to go to another meeting? So invite people in a way to something that's exciting, and it'll be fun, but you've got to believe that it's exciting and it's fun. Does that make sense? Otherwise, your communication, your language, the way you're inviting isn't going to stimulate or excite anybody to come. If you're like, yeah, well, I got this meeting, I thought maybe you'd like to come and hear what we're going to talk about, right? Versus, oh my gosh, I have all these amazing people that I've been hanging out with and I'm learning so much, and I would love for you. I mean, knowing you the way I know you would have a blast, right? Which is a completely different invite. Does that make sense? So you got to know that person. You got to know what they're passionate about. You know, that's what Corey Gold was like. You know, somebody came to me and invited me to Comic-Con, and I'm like, why would I want to go to Comic-Con? He goes, but I know my daughter would want to go to Comic-Con. So you've got to understand what people are, send people to the CBD. Evidently, Tom is, I think his photo is frozen, but his comments are coming up. So that's good. So yeah, inviting people to this CBD thing. I'm so excited. We made that great little square that you can pass out. It's on the Masters of Enrollment. And people are gonna learn things that are just gonna blow them away. And so, yeah, know what people are passionate about when you go about inviting them. So if you're having troubles inviting people, it might not be, you know, there's this undertone, right? We need to unpack and unfold and figure out why it is that you're not able to invite somebody to something because of your belief or your understanding or lack of understanding, or it just doesn't sound like something you would like to do. So inviting somebody. Okay, presenting. How many of you have done a business presentation? When somebody says, I want you to do a business presentation, do you get a little squirmy? Yeah, no. Pamela's like, no, right? Because I've failed so many times doing presentations. Now I know how to do good ones. But in the beginning, I didn't know that much on how to do a true presentation. And so again, unfold that. Is it because you don't feel confident in what you're talking about? You haven't done it before. Some of the things that we've done, some of the trainings where we've had people take turns doing the presentation, right? Take turns doing different slides. From what I understand, we're going to be getting a new presentation coming out here, so that's going to be awesome. But you've got to practice, right? You've got to do it. And whether you're doing it, again, just get some of your friends over and do a business presentation, but get comfortable with it so that when somebody says you got to go do a business presentation, you're not like, oh, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. So get with people on your team or other people, video yourself doing a presentation. One of my ladies did a presentation in front of her 2 daughters, her 2 cats, her 3 stuffed animals, and she did a presentation so she could get comfortable with doing it, right? And so just do what it takes to get comfortable to be able to do that. These are the skills that we need to know in this business. Okay, the follow-up. Oh my gosh, contact mapping. How did I live in the world of network marketing before contact mapping came along? Because more people have fallen through the cracks than I would like to admit. And so getting back on track, right? So where are you with follow-up? Do you feel good about where your follow-up is? Or do you feel like you're lacking? Do you feel like you could do better, right? I think we all can do better in follow-up and having those conversations with people. And especially those of us that are in the 65 and a wake up, you have got to be overwhelmed with all the follow-up. And if you're not using contact mapping, people are going to fall through the cracks. And this way, you just keep in touch with people. And I have a couple of relationships that are going on right now that just, started with complete, total strangers. You guys understand that strangers are just friends you haven't met yet, right? Most people I was a stranger with. We've all been strangers. Before we met, we were complete strangers. But look at the relationships that we have now. And so much around that is the conversations that we have amongst each other being part of the 65 and a wake up. And so the contact mapping, a great tool. If you haven't jumped into that, check it out. Those of us who are doing it, we love it. Tom talks about it all the time. Okay, so then the next thing is, what about enrolling? How do you feel when you're about to enroll somebody? Do you get nervous? Right? You start thinking, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I'm not sure if I know, when somebody gets enrolled, especially when we're new. And Trish and I, our upline, my upline, I was noticing our ID numbers are just a few numbers apart. I mean, we enrolled like within a month, she enrolled me. And so she was still new. And that's why I think these new systems and the Star School stuff, what Tom was talking about. My alarm is going off. Hold on. The Star School system is so important because now we have a place to send people, right? And I've been talking to a couple different leaders about this and where do you send people first? And I've come to the conclusion that we send people to the university first, Longevity University, because they're going to learn the terminology, right? They're going to learn the comp plan. They're going to get introduced to longevity. We're going to learn the skills around network marketing and personal development in the Star School system. And I see them working parallel. I see the new people coming in. They start off with the Longevity University, and then they start moving over into the Star School program. And then they become a part of 65 and a Wake Up, which ties right into the Star School and ties right into the coffee shop interview, right? And so the process is going side by side. It's parallel, side by side. So if you're worried about enrolling people, we have so many great systems now compared to what it was when, Trish and I came in 8 years ago. If you guys saw what the websites look like and what kind of resources we had, you would just be cracking up. So we have come a long way, baby. I'm going to tell you that. And so I just keep getting more and more excited. Every time I see something new, I know it's not perfect, but I know it's so much better than what we had. And it will get there. Believe me, it will get there. And so being a part of that and knowing what, what to do with people, how to get them enrolled and where to plug them into the system. Okay. And then helping new people along. One of the things that I always really loved in what I was doing, prior to this was that mentor and coaching. And to the point where I was doing that with a lot of people and I never wanted to charge them. So I had to figure out how can I mentor and coach people and still get paid, and network marketing is a perfect platform for that because that really is where my passion is. So how do you help people? Remember, we have to help ourselves first, right? This is a people business. Lisa Grossman says that the best thing about this business is the people, and the worst thing about this business is the people. And so for us to be good enough, right, for us to be able to work with people, we have to understand ourselves. We have to go through that personal development so that we know where we're taking people, and our leadership skills, which we're learning in the Star School as well. And so if you're nervous about helping people, then you got to unfold that. You got to look at yourself and go, why am I nervous? Maybe I haven't done enough of this, personal development. Maybe I'm not sure how to lead people. Work with your mentor, your upper mentor, your, sideline, crossline, wherever you can find people that can help you. And we talk about this, this circle of influence, right? The people within. Yeah, punch the guy in the shoulder, right? In the nose. Get rid of those people in your life that are not supporting you. I put up a quote I actually heard it at the ANMP. If you can't change the people around you, then change the people around you. And it makes perfect sense because if you're constantly being embraced by people who don't believe in what you're doing, the naysayers or whatever, or they're talking right through this little guy on your shoulder, then you're not going to get anywhere. And how can you help other people when they come to you and go, well, I got this little guy on my shoulder and he keeps telling me, network marketing is a scam. And we all know that's not true. We wouldn't be here if it was, because we have integrity. And, and that's what I say. Hey, I have integrity. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't the real deal. And so help yourself first so you can help the people, and then promoting. Tom alluded to the event that's coming up, right? And so we're not only inviting people, but we're putting it out there for other people to see what's going on. So we're calling people personally and inviting them to the events, but we're also promoting the events, right? Posting it on social media. I made a bunch of these little handouts, right, that are on Masters of Enrollment. It's a PDF and you can print it off. And we put a little blank thing down here. So I've got a couple of these that I'm handing out to people. And James just wrote, just showed me this note that he wrote, and it said, enjoy the process. I don't know if you guys ever saw this talk that Sanjeev's talked about, and he was so in our face. He goes, "You think this is hard? It is hard. It's hard for me, right? It's hard for me to do the things that I do, eating the right foods, whatever it is." And so don't think that you should get off any easier. We all have to live the process. But what he said was enjoy it. Enjoy the journey, right? Enjoy the process. Quit complaining about everything and get on with it. Because each time you move up, right, you kind of level up, video games, right? You get to that next level, things become a little easier. Oh, I know what to do here because I've experienced it before. Oh, I know how to invite people because I've done it and I failed at it and I've gotten better at it. And so embrace the journey, enjoy the journey, enjoy learning about yourself, enjoy that personal development. For me, I always think of one of those old, the little, what's the boat that, the water boat and the little steam thing that goes around and it scoops the water up is the boat. Does anybody know what that is?
A paddle boat?
Well, like it's a big boat that, you always saw going
Steamroller. Steamroller.
Yeah, there you go. Steamroller boat. And so for me, I always feel like I can tell when I'm really learning something because it starts to like pick the water up and start moving faster, right? At first, when I'm trying to change my mindset, it's like, I'm trying to stop it and it's really hard. But then all of a sudden it starts up again and it starts to move and all of a sudden it just starts flowing really easy down the river. And that's how I think about all the things that I've had to come over and, overcome and, learning how to find prospects. And in the beginning, it wasn't easy, but I had to learn how to do it because I can see what the future holds, right? And inviting people and learning how to be good at that and presenting, learning how to do we have so many tools now, even just some of the things, the videos, Cheryl and Paul, they have, come see the plan. If you've got to find those things that resonate with you so you can share them with the people, but your prospects and whatever. So enjoy learning all of this and knowing, somebody came into me one day and they had been in network marketing. They've been in longevity for a long time and never did anything. Didn't come to the meetings, never read any books. And but finally got a job at Sam's for like $10 an hour. And he came in and was sharing with me how he had all this training he had to do. And it was 2 weeks of training. And he had to read these manuals and he had to do all this stuff. And he goes, it's too bad I couldn't make this longevity thing work because otherwise I wouldn't have had to get this job. And I said, well, quite frankly, you never put the time in. You didn't show up for the trainings. You didn't read the books. So basically everything you're doing is for a $10 an hour job when this is unlimited income. Would you agree? Unlimited. But we have to do the work. And when you find people that are going to do the work, those are the people that you lock arms with, right? And you ride the tide. We are riding the tide right now, and it is a blast. All right. Does anybody want me to go into any one of these aspects a little more or talk about share some of your thoughts or issues that you've had where you need a paradigm shift, right, in your thought process? Okay, Miss Pamela.
Yeah, I was just going to say, how you just talked about that guy who said he had to work at that $10 an hour job and how much time he invested in the training for that. Well, if you're going through the Star School success system, right, our results worksheet, and this is the thing that we're all putting out there on that group page, is that we want to be making $10,000 a month, which is also $120,000 a year, or $2,300 a week. It also is $60 an hour. So for that guy who was doing all that training for a $10 an hour job, was he trying to make this work with 6 times the effort, right? To get 6 times the result. If you think about it that way, if you think about it that, yeah, you know what, this can be a way, once you get this going, the residual income that comes from it is outstanding, but it's going to take effort, it's going to take time and investment, and there's going to be sacrifices you need to make in order to make it work.
Right. Who else? Does somebody have some? Okay, Esther, go ahead. Oh, wait a minute, I can't unmute you for some reason. Oh, there we go. Oh.
I'm muted?
Yep, you're unmuted.
Okay. Yeah, I have a question about the Star School. Can anybody be in the Star School? Do you have to have a certain number of people? I didn't know about it.
No, and they introduced it at the convention, but no, you just have to go to Star School Community and you can join in, and there's the website, starschoolcommunity.com. Is that the right website? No, would you put
No, it's starschoolsystem.com.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, and you can join in there. So it's some great stuff. Oh, Mr. Adrian Chenault has joined us as well. Okay, anybody? Devin, you were at the Super Saturday, and do you have something to share around the law of process on that training?
Totally. Yeah, I love it. It was a great training through and through. I know one thing I was doing this morning was cultivating with Farmer Glenn's son, Sam, and Sam's newly enrolled friend. His name is Josiah. And one thing I was putting an emphasis on, and this could be a part of that wheel of process. It could be a part of it, I'm not sure. But it's working on sharing your story. Like, what is your story about longevity? And Sam was like looking at me like deer in the headlights. And same thing with Josiah. I was like, I don't know what my story is. I'm like, well, that's definitely something we need to unpack. It's something that we need to hone in on and work on, because whenever people ask you how you got involved or what it is that you do, you have this story that you can unveil, and it's going to be crafted. So maybe that could be a part of the enrolling, following up, presenting, is learning to share your story. So that's something that I feel is really important, is having a good story to share with people, a 2 to 3 minutes like short story, and then also like a longer story if you have more time when you're coffee shopping with somebody more in detail. But yeah, that's something I want to add, is just if you guys have your story, and if you don't have one, get it going, what your past was, what you didn't like about it, how you got to where you're at now, and the vision for the future.
Right, the 5 steps to creating a great story. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because people are going to buy into that vision, right? That's what people buy into, that last part when you tell them everything that you've been doing, why you're here, and this is what I'm doing now. You know, I'm helping people, whatever it is that you are passionate about. And so that people will, they kind of latch onto that and go, man, what you're doing sounds just like what I want to be doing. So work on your story. There's I've done a couple trainings on that actually. And there's a 5 steps to creating your story. And what Devin kind of alluded to is like, where were you? Where were you when you first heard about longevity, right? And then what did you decide to do? What was your decision? You decided to jump in. And again, these just need to be short little excerpts. You don't have to go into all the details. If it was a product story, you don't have to tell everybody about the products. You just have to tell them that you started the products and here were the results. What happened? Wow, I started feeling better and I didn't have any joint pain, or I started working on, a side business, and now I'm making enough money that I only have to work part-time, whatever that conversation is. And now what I'm doing is I'm helping people get their health back, and I'm helping them, make more money, and helping them so that they can do the things that they've always wanted to be doing. And so anyway, create this really powerful story that you can share amongst, your prospects, those people. And that goes around the inviting too. Right? That's what you're doing. And then when you're helping, helping people. So Adrian, you're here. Do you want to add something? You're looking pretty dapper in those shades, I might add.
Thank you. Yes, I do. Give me 1 second. I'm just walking in the door. Hold on.
Oh, you are? Okay,
He's
okay.
like all risky business and whatnot, right?
It does look like risky business. Do you have your pants on? I'm just saying, because you muted.
Risky business, huh?
Risky business. Right.
Yeah. So I'm kind of up to speed. Just that we're kind of talking through sharing our story a little bit in that kind of quick commercial about why we're in the business and how we got here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we were just.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah. So I think that what.
Oh yeah.
You froze.
You froze, Adrian. You froze.
You froze, Adrian.
Can you hear us?
He's pausing for emphasis.
Oh. I gotta take a screenshot of that.
Are you pausing for emphasis, Adrian?
Adrian? I don't know if you can hear us.
Now he's gone. We got a little block.
He's still there, but okay, let's see if we can. I'll send James downstairs to tell him that he's frozen. I don't know if he knows. Oh no, now he's on a different screen here. Hold on.
There he is.
Okay.
I dropped off Wi-Fi. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. I never once have gotten frozen like looking cool. So I'm sure that was a beautiful. Whatever happened, I'm sure it was great.
I took a screenshot just so I could show you.
That was always the joke at my old job when we were doing cross country. Everyone would get frozen and we'd take pictures of people looking really bad and send them around on email. But with that story, we're working on this new presentation that's going to get released by corporate that everybody's going to use across the board. And a few of us in Colorado recently kind of got a sneak peek at that with my dad and Denise and Scott and Julia at Fardulis kind of modeling what that looks like. And the center of all of this is stories. So the center of the presentation for Youngevity going forward is going to be all around stories. And what's so interesting about that, for those of us that experienced it, and Marianne or others who were there that night, I'd love for you to chime in on this, but it was so relatable and it was so organic and it was so powerful because we're just immune to hearing facts and figures and being convinced by that. People want to know about you. And so getting good at telling your story succinctly and not having, talking about that rainy Tuesday night that you were born, followed by your kindergarten teacher and your third grade teacher and all that sort of stuff, but being able to have a, compelling short story using that model, which is in Youngevity University, for those of you who haven't seen it already, about how to sort of create that narrative arc within your story and how to make it short is so important. So, you want to be able to tell a good version of your story in under a minute. You probably want a 3-minute version of it too. And you really should, do it in the mirror, even record yourself on video and time yourself and just practice it. Because once you get comfortable and you kind of know what the flow of it is, you're, instead of kind of being in your head, you can tell it from your heart and you kind of know what you're going to say. And so you let that, you let the moment dictate the parts of it that you emphasize or the parts of it that you might leave out, but you already know what you're going to say. If you're not practiced, if you haven't already thought that through, then instead you're in the back of your head trying to worry about what the heck am I even going to say? And you don't feel natural. You don't feel relatable. You feel awkward. And so just that, practice makes perfect, just like anything else. But I would say with sharing your story, it's so critical. And, Marianne or others who heard that, sorry, I know there's a train coming by here. Just talk about how that felt hearing the, an overarching Youngevity presentation told from a story perspective, because I thought that was really powerful and it was really cool to see the way that we're moving in that direction.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I'm just looking at Colleen's daughter hanging upside down here. But anyway, so, hey, we work on our stories a lot around here, and I'm hoping you guys do the same because it is so powerful. And the video that they've got, and this could be this presentation could be a plug and play, kind of like what Adrian said, where you just show somebody this video. It's not that long, it's about 8 minutes, but it's a complete telling a story about, a person sharing their story, their experience, and showing them how, what Youngevity did for them and what's happening now. And so it's a great video. I don't want to say too much because I don't know if it hasn't been released yet, but we did get to see it at the Super Saturday. And so it's even better, I think, Adrian, probably from when you guys saw it. So it's
cool, exciting.
Yeah, they've incorporated some other stuff into it and what have you. So some imagery that's really going to help. But yeah, it'll be cool. And like I said earlier, so before you got on, Adrian, we kind of went through that the law of process, and we talked a lot about that. And so I think in the law of process, your story is going to be incorporated in that in a lot of different places. Finding prospects, you're going to listen to them, and something like what Adrian was talking about. And so I have a couple different stories, right? I have a couple different aspects that I will interject depending on the person that I'm sharing with, right? If they are somebody who is really about the business, then my story is going to be around my success in Youngevity. And if it's more around products, I've got some product stories for my, some personal stuff. But again, it's going to cater to whoever I'm talking to. And so what Adrian was saying was you practice a lot of that and know eventually it does. It just comes from your heart. And so it's not like a canned thing. And what we talked about earlier, finding prospects, we have to practice at that, right? Inviting, we have to practice at that. Practicing these skills and learning these skills and enjoying the journey. And I shared a conversation that Sanjeev did one time, and he's like, I don't know why you guys think that you have to have it easy. This is hard for me. It's got to be hard. It is hard. And so just enjoy your growth, enjoy the people that you meet, enjoy the experiences that you have, and glean something from everything that you do. All right. Does anybody else have several arrows in your quiver? For sure. And having, people of, the law of process. So the law of process of network marketing, the law of process of life. Anybody have anything else that they wanted to add or interject or contribute or anything like that around that?
I would like to say something. My name is Juan Valentin from Virginia.
Hello.
Can everybody hear me?
I'm looking for you. Can you guys find him?
Yeah, it's not. He's from a phone, not from not a picture.
Go ahead, sure.
Okay. Again, my name is Juan Valentin. I've been in internet marketing since about 12 years now. I have never seen a company as good as this one and products that are real. And I'm really proud of Youngevity and being a distributor for Youngevity. Someone mentioned earlier about being, I guess, jittery or nervous about presenting the company or the products or whatever. But, I found that the more you learn about what you are doing, the more comfortable you feel about speaking about it. I mean, it's like becoming accustomed to something. You have no problem telling someone what your name is when they ask you, well, where do you come from and who are you? And like I'm speaking now, I'm not nervous at all because I'm accustomed to this. So I would advise all of the associates of Youngevity to learn the products, learn the system, listen to the videos every day. You're not going to get enough of it. And the more you hear it, the more you're going to know it, the more you're going to feel comfortable with it, and the more easy it is to present it. And with that, I'm finished.
Nice. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. And no, you're absolutely right. Adrian, did you have something?
That was great one. I think that's spot on. And what's, what I think you said that was really powerful is, what we want to do is simultaneously feel comfortable that we could be the expert if we wanted to, but then also realize that the power is in is in throwing it across the board to somebody else to be the expert in a lot of cases, because the more that we can bring in that third party validation, that's really, really powerful. But that doesn't take you out of the position of wanting to know more, wanting to know how to kind of navigate the conversation the right way, because you know the products, because you understand the business, because you understand the comp plan. But your goal in doing that is not that you can then just go it alone and you don't use anybody else, because using your upline or using Crossline or using whoever it is that's going to be your third party expert and help you bring it in is something that is valuable in its own right, even if you do know it. And you hear my dad talk about this, right? He brings in third party all the time. He's been in this business for 20 years. Obviously he knows how the comp plan works, but he brings in a Sean Brown or he brings in a whoever, because there's power in doing that. So just remember that. And the other thing that I was gonna throw in there, just around that kind of nervousness, and I was having a conversation earlier today, and essentially the subtext was like, I just feel like I need a script, was basically what this person was saying. And we talk a lot about there is no script. We like lead, talk from your heart, all that sort of stuff, and we talk about that a lot in 65 days, and that's true. But for those of you who feel like you need more of a script, or that you just don't feel 100% comfortable, I think the solution for you is that practicing. It is that kind of different components of the story. I've heard it described as sort of you've got a bunch of pearls and you've got a string, and you're gonna put those pearls on the string in a different order depending on the conversation and the context and which ones you choose to place there. But you've got to know what those pearls are. You've got to know which parts of your story you can highlight, which part, you got to learn how to pay attention to which, where people lean in when and enjoy hearing your story, and maybe where they get bored when you're telling your story. And all that stuff comes from practice. And that practice can be just getting out there and doing it. That practice can be actually practicing, right? We've talked about this in the past, but I would throw it out there again. Use this community. If you don't feel like you're good at interviewing, find somebody that you respect and ask them if they'd do an hour call with you, and spend 30 minutes interviewing them, and have them spend 30 minutes interviewing you, and give each other feedback, learn from the way that they carried the conversation versus the way that you did. And, that's a great way to learn. So there's so many different ways that you can do that. But the key is not that you're ever going to have some script that you just memorized it and that's the whole thing, but it's to get you comfortable in your own skin. It's to get you learning how to navigate the conversation, what to say when, what not to say, like Pamela said, all that stuff. And it doesn't have to be complicated. You just have to be comfortable enough saying it that you aren't sort of in this mode like I just went to right now of trying to figure out what the heck to say next. So you gotta stay in the moment. And if you can do that, the way to do that is to do it from practice. That's how you get there.
Yeah, no, it's true. And all of this is taking practice, and takes effort, and takes us doing it amongst each other. And I love what you said, Adrian, because it's true. Call people that are on here and just say, hey, do you care if I do an interview with you? And practice with that. And the other thing is that when I was in the very beginning, I would ask people if I could do a presentation for them and say, you know what, I need to practice this. I need to practice giving this presentation. And they would say, sure, I'll say, we can have coffee and you can do your presentation, just as a friend, right? To hear what I have to say. But it's also a good way to get people to hear what you have to say.
And then you trick them into enrolling.
And then next thing you know, well, I was sharing this sheet, and I've shared it before, and it's and I know Tom has one too, and it's actually on Masters of Enrollment. But this is such a fun little sheet here. So you can find that on Masters of Enrollment under the training stuff. But it's fun to put people down here and then watch them move up here. And it's true. You just never know. People that I never thought would be in this business are in this business. How crazy is that? But this was my little sheet. And I don't have any with me today, but I have 3 or 4 of these sheets that are all filled up. Now I have contact mapping. so I can put those people in there. But it's the same type of thing, right? And I'm moving people from here up to here. And so again, it's a process, right? It's a process of meeting prospects, inviting them, presenting, doing the follow-up, enrolling, helping new people, and promoting, and then starting all over again, right? And because the more we do it, the better we get at it. The more we experience it, the better. And some people, I've been in this company about 8 years, and I've been to every single convention, right? I still love to hear Dr. Wallach talk. And I think when people are like, oh, how could you keep on doing that? Well, I keep on doing it because I love it. And so we keep doing things because we love it. And if, they don't think, here's the thing that I realize about people who, I used to say, okay, when I was in the corporate world and all that, and I would look at people in network marketing, and how many of you have been approached over the years, and you probably told people to, flake off, that's a scam, whatever you believe at the time. And I would look at people go, oh, they are so crazy over there. And now I'm in here, right, looking at people in the corporate world, and I'm like, oh, they are so crazy over there. They have no idea. And so I think a lot of times when you start talking to people, they can't quite wrap their head around it, right? And they don't want to go to another meeting, and they don't want to go to another, that's how I was in the corporate world. I was like, I didn't want to travel. I didn't like traveling for business, but I love traveling for longevity, even though it is business, right? Because we're going out in life, we're hanging out with people. In the Star School, I love it because they say find 9 people that you can go, do life with, right? And just have a blast. And that's how I feel about longevity, is we're just having a blast. And so people in a regular job, they don't get that. They don't understand that. Adrian can probably talk about that a lot. Share a little bit, because you're really shaking your head there, right? But can you share a little bit about that?
Yes. Sorry, I couldn't get the right button.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. This is, I was smiling because I was just thinking about that very thing of, the dream is to invite the people that you enjoy, respect, and love the most in your community and in your life to come and do life with you and make a business. And, I had a really, really close-knit group of friends in college, and there was this one guy, Eric, and we always used to laugh at him, but he really meant it. And I still think we're going to do it one of these days, and it's going to be because of him. He's always been like, we're going to buy like 20 acres and we are going to build these big houses like in a horseshoe shape, and we're all going to live like on the same property and like in a compound and just hang out and do life together. And we always told him that sounded like a cult and that we weren't going to do that. But think about how cool would it be to pick the best people who you love, who you admire, who you're like, man, what if we could really go and do life together? And what if you interviewed them and you cared about them and you did not put your business in front of your friendship, but you cared enough about them and you believed deeply enough in this business and you made sure they understood that you cared about their friendship and then your business in that order, but that they saw what it was doing in your life and they saw how it was positively impacting you as a person and you financially, and they wanted to come on board, or they even caught the vision before it was impacting you that much financially, and they came into the mix. And he's not on the call today, but my friend Doug, who's one of my very best friends in the entire world and somebody who is for sure better than me at this business already, came on board. And I can't even believe that I'm saying that. And what if the rest of our friends caught the vision and that all happened? And if that doesn't if applying that idea to your life doesn't put a huge smile on your face, I don't know what does, because what could be better than that, to really have a business that is involving people who you truly love. And if you ask Scott Fardulis, if you ask my dad, if you ask Luis Ariaza, even if it's not their best friends before they joined Longevity that are their main people in their business, the people who they are really pulling on that rope with together, those people are our dearest friends. They're the people who we care so much about. They're the people who are in the trenches with us, who would do anything for us and that we would do anything for them. And I can tell you for sure that even as close a knit team as I built in my corporate job, it's just not the same, right? Because it's not built on the first foundation being relationship and trust. It's built on other foundations, and that's okay, but it's a different thing. And to be able to really, really do that with our dearest friends who we care about more than anybody in the world, there's not very many businesses that would afford you that opportunity. And that's one of the coolest things about the network marketing profession.
I agree. Does anybody else want to say anything? Does anybody else? We've got just a couple more minutes here. And I know you guys don't want to do LDS, right?
I think that would be LCS. LDS is a different thing, and definitely not LSD.
Oh, LDS. No, that's let's do someone, where you want to let's call someone LCS.
Yeah, see, I was thinking let's dial someone,
Dial.
See, Pamela bailed you out there.
Back in the old days, we had dial up. I'm just saying. Dial your phone. All right. Does anybody else want to say anything or add anything? Or just make a joke? Because if that's it, we'll end a little bit early. I'm kind of starving today. So are you guys good at ending just a few minutes early? Adrian, is that okay?
Anything for your rumbly tummy, Marianne.
You don't want to see me hangry.
We don't want to see you hangry. All right, everybody. Thank you all so much.
Yeah, thanks, you guys. It was a great call. Hope you guys enjoyed it and learned a lot. And we love you. We'll talk to you soon.
Love you guys. God bless.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Marianne.
Thank you. Love you.
Bye. Love you. Thank you, Adrian.
Bless you.
Love you, Tammy. Love you, Miss Ellen.
Love you. Love you.
Love you, Pamela.
All right, you
Love
guys.
you. Bye.
Love you
Bye.
guys. Take care. Bye.
Bye.